welcome back to Video Game Talk Time. I really haven't come up. Well, you guys know who I am. I'm Golden Sibling number one here. And I'll be your little host today. Again, guys, I'm sorry. Golden Sibling number two had something to do, so she is unable to join me at this time. But if any of you are watching right now and would like to actually get talking about a video game, or give me some ideas, I'm kind of actually running out, as a matter of fact. So if you have any video game ideas or anything that would actually feel like it would do some good or help me come up with ideas to help out, please give me a comment or something saying, "Hey, do this video game." I'll do some research on it, and then I'll talk about it. If most of you feel like that, that some of your comments, like I've seen like some people post comments like, "Hey, I like your video, good job," or you guys could tell me, "Hey, I don't feel like you did this right." Just let me know, and I will gladly correct it, because your guys' voice matters a whole lot. I really do appreciate it, and I'm actually glad that you guys actually support that. I am really happy if any of you have something to say. And I hope you all enjoy my videos, and I hope you guys enjoy my time being on YouTube. I know I'm not a big YouTuber hit, but I try doing stuff I love, like video games, so that's why I became like this. And I hope a lot of you like to see that. And here we go. Enough talk. Let me talk about a game. So as you can tell by the title of the video, we are going to be talking about the video game Alien vs. Predator. Well, we're going to be talking about most of them, okay? So I'm going to bring up like different versions of the games that you will see. If you guys have any other ones that you've seen and you want to actually give me a like heads up of what one is, please let me know, because I don't really know a whole lot. I do know there's a couple, but I don't know their names. So please leave them in like the comments below, and I will gladly tell. So the thing was about Alien vs. Predator, it started out as a movie. But first it started out with aliens, then the Predator came into play, and then they both came into play in the movies. So what I wanted to talk about first was this, the movie. So this is what I heard about some of the movies, and I've actually seen a lot of the movies of Alien and Predator. So the aliens are actually, their real names are called the Xenomorphs. And when I first saw Alien vs. Predator, I just thought they were called aliens. I actually had no idea that they were called, Xenomorphs, and I didn't know the Predators were called Predators, because I thought they were battling both alien-type creatures. Yet I did not know that, and I regretfully say I wish I paid attention more to the movies. Yet I went back and actually looked at some of them. So as many of you know, the Xenomorphs, Predators, and Marines, people, in Alien vs. Predator the game, you get to play all three sides of each story. If you're the Xenomorph, you get equipped with the stuff the Xenomorphs use as weaponry, aka meaning their tails, which are sharp ends. They're able to walk on walls. They're able to climb on walls, like I've said. I'm sorry, I repeated it again. Their tongues, which are used as like close-eye daggers, and they can see their enemies and be able to destroy equipment with them as their strong hand coordination. Not only that, but during when you are a Xenomorph, you have other Xenomorphs helping you out too, if requested. You can also use face huggers, which are the Xenomorph's easy way of breeding. aka meaning, since most Xenomorphs are like think of the Xenomorphs as a bee swarm, except the queen lays all the eggs. That's kind of what the Xenomorphs have. They have that kind of like a community. Except most of them are more deadly, and they don't really do much around the hive. The workers in the beehive would construct the beehive and make sure it's stable. Well, the Xenomorphs kind of do that, but they make the planet more like their home. Whatever beings or creatures they find, they facehugger using the facehuggers. The facehuggers implant the young Xenomorphs inside the subjects, and they are good to live for about an hour or a day, depending on what kind of Xenomorph you have. There are different kinds of Xenomorphs. There are the general Xenomorphs, that when they turn into the regular Xenomorphs, they get turned into generals, aka they're like the queen, but a few more inches smaller. Don't believe me? if you guys go look at some pictures of a general xenomorph, aka it's close to looking like the queen, yes, except its details, it's stronger, and it has more agile than the queen. As the queen is like a T-Rex, she has to limbo a lot of her body parts to move. Now, here's the thing I didn't know about the xenomorphs. It turns out that the baby is alive inside of you. By the time you wake up from consciousness, if you're lucky sooner or later, the hatchling will actually burst its way out of the human or subject's chest and begin in the baby state. But here's what I found more interesting about the xenomorphs. It turns out that the xenomorphs are able when they're equipped with a different subject, aka humans or a species like the predator, they're offspring of the predator or mix of the human or predator, they're able to actually do this. It's grow up faster. Some xenomorph humans are used as co-ops. If you've noticed in the game, you can only kill the ones that have weaponry. And then when you get to ones that are like electricians or something, you have to infect them. I'm going to tell you why that is. The xenomorphs need smart parts of their people to be able to handle stuff outside the hives with themselves. AKA meaning the people that are handling the guns, the xenomorphs don't need them because other xenomorphs can handle themselves. All they need is the brain power. Now, for some of the xenomorphs, as you can probably tell though sometimes, is that a lot of them like to hide with the scenery they've created. That's what gives their black kind of outlook camo a good effect, is because everywhere they go, it is always dark. Now, what I want to also talk about the xenomorphs is why they mostly need people to repopulate. You see, during the movies, and in the video game, as you can see, the xenomorphs are actually supposed to be from a different planet. Their eggs were given to... They took the predators took one of the queens from the planet and transported it to Earth. It is also said that the predators were there before the humans, teaching humans how to build, and then the humans would prepare a sacrifice, giving the predators a way to hunt and be able to prove themselves worthy of being predators. But there was a consequence. If the predators lost, they made sure nothing would survive, aka meaning the giant bomb wrist attached to their wrist. The giant bomb clock attached to their wrist. I'll get explaining to that when I get to the predators. Anyway, the xenomorphs work like a big old fat beehive, except they are more deadly, more dangerous, and instead of stinging you, they'll just straight A kill you. Now, a lot of people say the xenomorphs act like velociraptors. They hunt in packs, which is actually kind of true. When one xenomorph gets attacked, it only challenges one predator, and I think it's to prove itself. But when there are some other ones, like say you get a couple, like only two warriors to fight, guess what? It brings a whole colony with it. And then most people you'll see just kill themselves to get out of the pain. Now, the weaknesses to the xenomorph, which I've seen that is more efficient, they are mostly, you can mostly use anything to kill them, but what's more efficient is the fire. Fire has more an effect on the xenomorphs than anything else, which is very weird to me, to be honest, because their body is always so liquid, so that's probably also why fire would kill them faster. Now, I know what some of you might be saying right now is, hey, why do the xenomorphs sometimes... Is the predator the hybrid of the predator and xenomorph, isn't that smarter? To be honest, yes it is. It is said that the predator xenomorph, the reason only one predator would be infected by the xenomorphs is because they would be able to last so long alive. When a predator would usually kill one of its brothers that would be infected, but is no longer its brother, it would prove itself to be quite deadly. Now, I know what some of you are also probably saying, but Golden Sibling, and I know I changed my name, by the way, guys, please ignore that, but golden sibling, why does the xenomorph always take over planets? Because the humans and predators wanted to use the xenomorphs as a way to hunt and try to use them for weaponry. The predators didn't. They just wanted to use them for hunting because they were worthy adversaries. But the humans wanted to know what they were, how they produced, how they did everything. But that ended badly, didn't it? Okay, guys, the next people we're going to be talking about are the predators. The predators are supposed to be the highest ranking predators or hunters really alive. But here's what I've also known in the text of some movies and stuff. They're actually the smartest beings also, and most advanced. Sure, in the movies and stuff, you see the humans have really high technology that can do a lot of stuff, but look at the predators. Retractable boomerang blade saws, a sphere that you can use at any time that collapses smaller or bigger depending on the item. Not only that, it has retractable blades, shootable blades, it has cloaking, it can mimic voices, it can copy voices and laugh, like some in the movies, and it can have infrared vision and xenomorph vision as well, guys. And not only that, but it has an invisible ship. If that ain't high-quality tech, I don't know what would be. But it is also said that the predators carry the skulls of a dead victim, but only if they were adversary. Meaning, if you guys look at some of the movies, like the guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he said, "Get to the chopper," I'm sorry, I can't do the voice, but yeah. The reason that he only took that one soldier in the movie's skull, besides Arnold Schwarzenegger, is because of one reason. Because that one guy was worthy enough to stand up to him, trying to fight for his life, but the predator ripped his skull out. If most of you see in movies, they only go after the skulls of the ones they feel like deserve to be royally put on display of where they're at, basically. Now, if you guys would also see something about the aliens, xenomorphs, I forgot about it, is that the xenomorphs, it is not really good to use a melee weapon on a xenomorph. Not even the predator, unless you have their reinforced blades. Now, you might be asking yourself, why? If some of you don't know what the xenomorphs are. You see, the xenomorphs are a high sophisticated hive I told you about, but be happy they're not the xenomorphs, because guess what? Their blood is acid. Yeah. I just blew my minds there, didn't I? Yeah, it turns out that the xenomorph's blood acid, anything that shoots them, it will hurt them, but it won't last long, because the bullet, when entry, it will start to disintegrate. If you knife a xenomorph, it will take damage, but guess what? Your blade will be destroyed. If it gets on you, guess what? You're dead. Because the xenomorph blood spreads unless you have onto the skin. If you have clothes or something and you battle a xenomorph, it is said you should take off your clothes if put acid on, because if it gets to your human body, it's not going to stop burning and killing you. Now, as I've read about the predators cloaking, they can mimic the voices to get people by themselves, so they can kill them. Some predators have also a laser cannon. Laser cannon allows them as like a rifle. Think of the laser cannon as their sniper rifle, but instead of using it for short distance, they use it for long distance, aka meaning sentries, xenomorphs, or anything else that gets in their way. Now, what I would like to mention, since I mentioned all of his weapons so far, was the bomb on his wrist, as I mentioned. The predators will only use that bomb if necessary. What I read online, it said that the predators have this bomb as a suicidal weapon, since some warriors back then from great time periods says the man who created the predators, I really could not really tell what he was trying to say. I really couldn't get his name, but he said because of all great man's history, if a warrior was defeated and was dishonored and got totally beaten, he would take his own life because he couldn't handle what happened to him. So if you all think about it, the predators are just like a normal human versions of us, but they're more alien-y. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, if you want to think about it in a way, the predators respect each other and want to do good in this warrior lifestyle they all have. But you have to admit, even the predators have their own way of screwing up. Anyway, back to business. So the predators came to Earth actually came to the planet that you're on in the video game, and to Earth to actually complete. Well, the predators in the video game came to stop the alien hybrid of the predator because it is said that when that guy comes to the predator planet, it will wipe out their race. Yeah, it's an alien war. But in the movies, they came to be judged on what they did or how they've learned. And I bet many of you will probably notice this in the video games. You start to notice that they keep saying Mr. Wayne, Mr. Wayne, the creator of a company that was supposed to be knowing how to handle these situations. And when you play the human, the predator, the alien predator, and the human, you can all see the endings as one thing. They're all trying to get to the xenomorph planet. The predators, the humans, aka Dr. Whalen, and Alian is actually heading there as we speak. You see, you play an alien as xenomorph as your first character if you wish. As you know, that you have to be able to use your xenomorph abilities to save your queen. But what if I told... I'm going to do a little bit of spoiling. Sorry guys, but YouTube needs it. Spoiling works like... not spoiling, sorry about that. It works like this. You're the xenomorph, you just got done infecting the last predator on the planet. And on that planet you're on now. Because you and a hive just took out the predator and his buddies and their ship place. But, here's what I like to mention. When your character in the cutscene leaves, he collapses. Because there's only one reason for it. The queen is dead. That's where your human person would come in. Your human player character would come in and just kill the queen and her eggs. Killing off the queen, you kill off everyone else. But when they get you, when the people get you off the planet, the humans of Wayland Industries, and the cutscene takes you to the scientist who was working with you, let me mention something. It turns out that the xenomorph you are is in a hibernated state. It turns out all the xenomorphs are women. Yeah, trust me. I don't know how, I don't know why, just roll with it, please. Anyway, it turns out all the xenomorphs were women. So when one queen is gone, guess what? It doesn't matter. A random one during the population that survived, if one survived, will be crowned the new queen and will begin using the hive and being able to handle it. That's possibly why a lot of the xenomorphs were able to obey the queen easier. It's a women's society, so women obey women. If there's no men, why would there be? Because they can repopulate, not with the same settings. Now, during the predator state, during this time, your predator form takes out the alien hybrid of the alien and predator. Your guy starts laughing, and his ship comes and picks him up with all of his other people thanking him and respecting him for completing it. Now, what I saw in some of the movies, though, is that the predator was able to talk, but only in a certain state. What do I mean? I mean that the predator was only able to talk to a certain amount of people. Like in some Predator movies, in one Predator movie, the very first one, the Predator started to laugh maniacally because he was trying to kill somebody, aka stands for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, here's the funny part. I started to notice as well. during another movie, as I did not know existed, but please be mad at me later. The predator was going on a killing spree. What happened was is that I think they said that they came to Earth to try to find peace among everyone else. Not knowing the dangers and not knowing anything else about this planet, they they just decided to be careful of what they were doing. So basically, they were trying to say is that they came to Earth to try to live normally because their home world there was nothing much to hunt anymore. So they came to Earth hoping that there was a lot more to hunt. So when you look at the predators and you look at the xenomorphs, really, you see them as two species that are just trying to live their lives and trying to get out of this world, as one would say. A lot of people say that they need stuff like this to help them survive. Not a lot of people will say that, but a lot of people say that time takes a toll on everyone. Now let me ask you all something. Does anybody know why the predators in the second movie they were there until 1990? They were there since 19 I think 21. 1921. They were there during the Stone Age, aka knights, dragons, and all that. So the question was, how were they able to hide themselves for this long? Easy. Cloaking. If anything, the predators went to certain areas of the world and killed and hunted. Then when word spread about these hunters being real and then they made a mistake or something, they would take off. aka meaning they would leave and never return to that area until a certain time period. Now here's what I've noticed about some of the predators I've seen in movies otherwise I've seen. In other movies, the predator would never work with humans. They would always be nice if they were proven worthy of being a predator, aka meaning they've had a certain mark on them by another predator that was like, hey, this woman, like in Alien vs. Predator, the prince. Turns out the predator that was helping this woman in the movie was actually a prince of the predators, as I saw. It turns out his mark was a mark of royalty, but it was still a mark of saying, hey, I was a warrior. When he gave the mark, what nobody else knew of the predators, really, but in the movie you saw it, when he was marking himself, he got facehuggered. I know, it sounds wrong, still, work with me, people. Anyway, when he got himself facehuggered, he put back on his mask, and he had a total of an hour or almost that whole time to try to get out of there. Now, the reason he gave her the mark was because she killed a xenomorph queen. She destroyed the hive, and she was able to survive, no matter the cost, no matter the stakes. But he also passed this along as well. It turns out that message not only means prince, but it's also a warning saying, I have died because of a great illness, and that's why they gave him a warrior's death. In the end of the movie, the xenomorph, half-xenomorph predator emerges from the dead predator that died. But what I didn't get was the predator's infection took place in his chest. So let me ask everyone something. How? How is he able to pass a message like that on? What I mean is this. In certain times, predators would try to help each other out, but he died. He must have known he was going to die either way if they found out he had that xenomorph baby inside him. But why didn't he tell them to get it out of him and kill it so it didn't pass on? That's a question everybody wishes they probably knew. So finally, we set back to the last people you could play on this, the last characters you could play on this map, or this game. I mean, I'm sorry, is the humans. And I know what most of you are saying. What did the humans stand a chance? Alien and Predator would easily kill them. You are right. I am not denying that. The humans are like pincushions to them. But let me say this. During this game, we are giving a radar to give us movements. Our character has more flexibility than the other troops on this game. We can handle more weaponry and be able to use intelligence and other things to help us out. During the game, you have to find out why your troop came to this area and to stop it. What we didn't know, I didn't know actually, was that during the human state, there's actually a way to get rid of the xenomorph baby inside of you before it bursts out of your chest. It turns out there's a machine they have at that colony that allows it to extract the youngling in a certain state of bursting, but allows the subject to stay alive while they fix her up and sew her back together. The bones would not be damaged, and the body and the wounds will be healed. But before that technology was made, they had to stabilize the xenomorph. It turns out the xenomorphs do not like extreme cold. If they get extreme cold, they will freeze up and die eventually without food and movement. It is also said that when you freeze the body that's holding the xenomorph and wait to take them to a stabilized area to get the xenomorph removed, the xenomorph will not be moving, and it will be safer and easier to put them in that stable process. Most humans didn't know this, but some xenomorphs were able to identify which ones were important and which ones wanted to kill. Some xenomorphs and predators and humans were able to identify the robots from the actual humans. It turns out that the robots that Mr. Whalen created were supposed to kill off all the knowing scientists and humans to get them off the case of what's been going on. These little guys are supposed to be replicas of humans but have damaged faces and resemble technology-based organisms. These guys are equipped with a powerful sniper one-shot rifle that would allow them to one-shot anything that came too close. Now, the good thing about us being a human in this game is that we can reset the turrets to shoot any kind of motion they pick up, even if it's invisible or if it's moving too quickly. It has a large right scanner that allows it to pick up enemy movement and allow it to fire at will. Now, as Predator and as the Xenomorph, you're able to identify the turret and being in danger, and your people would actually give you a heads up. Predator, not so much. But with Predator, there's two ways you could destroy technology. Predator can go up to like a power core and take the power from it so he can keep using his blaster, his wrists, and turning invisible, and so on. What I did forget to mention was that Predators have some kind of crystal that they jam into them, allowing them to heal times 5. That means when they get instantly stabbed with those needle drugs that they carry, guess what? They're instantly healed. It only took 5 seconds to heal. Xenomorphs use their tongue. Xenomorphs use their tongue to destroy any kind of technology-based weaponry they have. Turrets destroy the computer. Can't work anymore. Predators, they stab their knife actually into them. For the human, you rehack the server, allowing you to re-access the main progress of the turret. Anyway, there was a couple more things I wanted to talk about before the end of the video. That one was the Predator's code. It turns out the Predator's language is actually Psi language, or in another word too, Morse code. But for their Morse code is numbers to show and understand. What I also found out about the xenomorphs is that not only is it only containing women xenomorphs, but if you noticed in the movie that most of the hostiles they take are mostly men and sometimes it will be women. I found this out in one of the movies. When a predator had two blasters, turned them into a pistol. I think it's Alien vs Predator 2, where they try to get to a helicopter to get out of here. It turns out the xenomorph alien predator can infect a woman who is pregnant. When the woman is pregnant, it will kill the baby inside of her and replace it with 6 xenomorphs. And it hurts too. Believe me. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have today, so I'm glad you guys stuck around for the video. This is Going Somewhere number 1. I'm glad you all came, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye!